Hey there, my lovely friends. I decided today to venture out with bare feet and shorts on. The hard, it's not the cold, it's not wiping out is the hard part. Getting here in bare feet. Really, I should come in boots and then take my shoes off or something. For sure. But here I am. And as anyone that's watched before, kind of gets boring, I guess. But for me, it's not, and it's the discipline as well that's important. But it's the discipline, it's the repetition, it's the pace, rhythm, cadence, whatever. It just falls in line, and that doesn't mean I've got that. It's just what I'm tuning into as best I can with everything in my life is to feel my way, hopefully, into a more resonant existence with nature and hence, therefore, with myself. Hopefully. I don't even know what... Oh, good. The snow is open. I just didn't want to flop back and find out it was ice. Oh, fuck. Oh. You know, it's I had two snowballs there. I should throw them. Should watch out I throw it on an angle so it doesn't land on me. But oh gosh. I don't know much at all, to be honest. And as I grow and learn, I learn how much I don't know. But that is something to aim for, I think, because, I don't know, call it a case of mistaken identity that a lot of us live through up to at least a point. It's better to at least know what you don't know so you don't walk through life thinking you know something that you don't. And I think that's where I'm working on, is just learning what I don't know. To get out of thinking, to get out of that kind of knowledge compilation, bookshelves in the mind, along with ego feeding, because definitely in that realm is where the ego lives, as far as I am finding out. This is all my own experience. So I find that right now my biggest job is dipping into my feelings, learning what is not me, shedding those layers, and then also in turn, and as I go deeper, or able to go deeper, I can get deeper into my feelings, and I believe that's where my real connection that's been somewhat severed, I think, for everyone. No conspiracy, just life experiences, little traumas, little things that build layers like a piece of sand and a pearl, and they obscure our true selves. So that's really what I'm doing, is playing in the sandbox like a kid and trying to find little gems, little sparkly objects that come from my heart, and then allowing a certain amount of mind participation with the heart well engaged. And then as I let go of things, and that's also why I put myself through these little stress challenges, partly for physiologically adapting, but also mentally, there's that moment of hesitation for me, and I'm sure everyone, before you jump into cold water, before you lie back doing a snow angel, before any of these things, cold shower, whatever, even if you're doing it always, there's this little and then it's fine. So I'm also working on that, getting to know that part of my mind that does that as well, for whatever end that is. So I'm just to stress, I'm not I don't think I know some special anything. I'm a student of the universe. I'm a student of my body, which I'm really working with now, my body, heart, and mind, trying to find a balance. So rather than rejecting my body, I am appreciating it and having great levels of gratitude for my body and how I can interface with it. The soul print tattoo approach that I have developed over time with I should say me and my clients have developed and honed down like Damascus steel in the crucible. This has taught me so much, and I just thought to myself over time, it worked so well for the tattoo experience. What if I applied it to my life experience? Well, I didn't have a luxury to entertain that idea for very long before lost my soulmate, partner, wife, love, Raven. Didn't lose. I should correct myself. These words are spelling, and we have to use them very carefully, I believe. So saying I lost my wife is wrong, because you lose your keys. I can't go looking behind a corner, or can I? I don't know. Maybe in the sense I lost my wife in the sense that at first there's parts of me that think she's gone because she's gone in the physical, and now I'm finding her in a different form or lack of form. So in that sense, I guess it could work. But anyways, this experience kind of threw me into a choice. Do I flounder and wow, starting to get life back in the forest. But do I flounder and get negative, thinking about the glass half empty and woeful me? Or do I do my best to connect to my heart, which was my choice? I thought it would be the best place to go. Or actually it went beyond thought, because a couple of incidences, it just put me there. And I realized, although grieving being very painful and verging on suffering depending on how I dealt with it, I realized that if I stopped the kind of claustrophobic trying to get out of the elevator type of thing, and I did realize that, incidentally, just recently, that a large part of the horribleness in my experience that still flashes at me is a claustrophobia of sorts. It's when Raven, I'm trying to think for the right words, but when she exited this world physically, suddenly I was in not just a world in lockdown and all this crazy shit and the world events, which was alien enough, but it was in sync with Raven being gone. So in essence, I am in a totally different world that slightly looks like a reasonable facsimile to the one I had with Raven. So it was kind of a claustrophobia. The world was giant in this concept of giant, but I had no access to it anyways, so it was as small as my mind would allow. But the smallness of it, the constriction, was a world steeped in lies. And I'm not pointing fingers. It's just like no one knows what's real, what's not real. And maybe we never knew what was real. We never knew what was certain. And it was all an illusion. But nonetheless, reality, realization, whatever you want to call it, I was left in a world without my love. And I had spent the best part of my life, largest part of my life, always interacting, referring to, cuddling with, just sharing ideas with Raven. And all of a sudden I had no outlet in that way, along with a world that had just become quite easily undesirable, let's say. So it was a panic kind of situation. When it would hit me, this sort of grief element, it was very much like a panic claustrophobia of how do I get back to, it's not logical, but that's kind of, if I put words to it, it would be, how do I get back to where I was certain about things, where I felt safe, which was with Raven. Because even with Raven, when things were difficult, I still had Raven to be with and chat about things and bounce ideas off of. Suddenly I was in a world that got less seemingly safe, and I didn't have Raven. So that's, for whatever it's worth, that's what I have realized, an aspect of my grieving Raven. And I think grieving the world, that the illusion that got left behind, the illusion of safety that got left behind. And I'm choosing to welcome this because I would rather truth coming forth than living in a cozy illusion. I really would. I would rather live a shorter, intense, meaningful, and I don't mean as in high risk jumping out of planes. I'm talking about really living connected to what and who I am and the world around me, as opposed to just some kind of a addiction to a reality pattern that gives me a sense of self-worth, whatever, playing a game, and then at the end retiring and getting bored and dying because I was bored to death or something. Who knows? It's just, I woke up to that. At least a million things to wake up to. I'm sure I won't wake up to everything in a lifetime, but I woke up to that. And for me, it was one thing that I really was snagged on. I think we're all snagged on slightly different things with a lot of overlaps. So anyway, enough of my blabbing on, babbling and blabbing. But I think that's pretty well for today's chat of whatever came up for me. Got to go and get some groceries. I have a soul print coming up on the weekend, and then one the weekend after that. That is awesome. It means that life, circulation is starting to flow again. Snow is starting to melt. Things are getting a little bit less wintry. No more minus 36s. As far as I know, that was our record here. I'm happy right now. To me, compared to what January, February offered, this is summer, or at least spring. And there's no bugs. Still gets below zero at night, but this week has a couple of like +3s, +4s. I think there's a +7. I'm hoping once it reaches that cool, we will have some melting snow, because that would be cool too. And I welcome the spring. Lots of excitement coming our way. Lots of excitement. So that's what I'm holding on to. I'm embracing what comes forth that my heart identifies, which is why I'm doing this work of trying to uncover my heart and strengthen my heart's perception, and put my mind as in second gear, as a secretary, you might say, or receptionist. But anyways, my friends, I am going to let you go. And I'm gonna get dressed and drive into town to get some odds and ends. We'll see you later.